Hi folks, how are you doing? I am the Reverend Danny Crosby, Unitarian minister serving congregations in Altrincham and in Urmston in the northwest of England. I hope that you're finding the love and that you're witnessing the blessings in these challenging times. It's hard at times, my friends, but remember we are all in this one together, all the way. Hope is awakening all around us. Life is opening up again. This devotion is offered as a balm for the heart, the mind, the spirit and the soul. And the title for today's reflection is Beauty Awakens the Eye of the Beholder. I invite us to still ourselves. Let's invite a loving presence to be here amongst us and to awaken from deep within us all. I have lit the flame of freedom in the cup of belonging, acceptance and love. We join together in our physical separation, but united in our devotion to life and to love. Be still with me and enter into the crescent fold of my arm as we join as one in this time and space. Wind your thoughts like a river toward the centre of who we are, as one humanity in this our shared world. Be still with me as we join together on the beautiful journey. We are vessels sailing together in this ship of love and life, journeying on the waters of life, alive with a purpose and a strength unknown to us. Be still with me as we enter in this time together, in stillness, in the spirit of love and gratitude. Amen. Let beauty awake for beauty's sake. Sometimes when I stand in the gardens of the chapel, I feel like a cross between something like Snow White and perhaps Francis of Assisi. A bit grand, I know, but sometimes I feel this way. Felt it this morning actually as the cherry blossom was falling all around me. I feel like I want to preach a sermon or sing to the birds and the other creatures that you see in the gardens. Then I come to my senses and I just simply listen and soak in what is all around me and realise that it's they who preach to me. I am a blessed man indeed. There is beauty all around me, and it awakens my soul to act. The cherry blossom is out again. Nature is alive all around us, beautifying life. It is wonderful to just wander around and savour it in the warmth of the sun. Several times over the last couple of weeks, I have stood listening to someone as they have pointed out the beauty of the natural world. As I stand there savouring, I am reminded once again how much I revere life. It awakens my heart and it feeds my soul, and it compels me to act in the world in beautiful ways. Many years ago, our General Assembly had to go through a process to create an object that kind of described in some way who we are. I'm told that it was to fulfil a commitment to the Charity Commission in order to gain charitable status as a religious organisation. Well, one line read, "The worship of God and the celebration of life." Now, I've often thought about these words, and today I kind of see them in reverse, or they mean something to me in reverse. For me, what we ought to be aiming for is the worship of life and the celebration of God, however we understand God. That life is what we ought to hold in the highest value, the highest worth, and that this is celebrated through that love which animates all life. That love that I know as God, that I name God. But that's just me. And I'm sure there are many folks who would disagree. I'd be worried if there wasn't. I've been feeling reverence for life powerfully this week as I have noticed the beautiful pink cherry blossom beautifying the trees. This I know will not last. It's so short-lived, but I will enjoy it while it does, and I've already noticed this morning. It's already falling. The ground is covered in that beautiful pink snow. Cherry blossom is much loved throughout the world. In Japan, though, it's more than loved. It is revered. It is worshipped. Each year, the Japanese people come in large groups with their families and friends to view the flowers and to enjoy festivals with food, drink, and music. The significance of the cherry blossom tree in Japanese culture goes back hundreds of years. It represents the fragility and the beauty of life. It is a reminder that life can at times become overwhelmingly beautiful, while at the same time tragically short. The cherry blossom blooming for a short time each year is an overpowering visual reminder of the precious fragility of life. So when Japanese people come together to view the cherry blossom trees and marvel at their beauty, they aren't just thinking about the flowers themselves, but also about the larger meaning and deep cultural tradition of the cherry blossom tree. This is a truly religious experience. It's more than just mere spirituality, as the people are bound together sharing this experience. Life has taught me many things, but one thing it's taught me is that how I see the world really depends on where I'm at spiritually. I wonder if I have ever seen the world as it truly really is. I wonder if any of us have actually. How I see the world seems to be constantly changing. And I believe it really matters how we see the world, because how we see the world will affect how we live in the world. As Victoria Safford once wrote, "To see, simply to look and to see is an ethical act and an intentional choice. To see with open eyes is a spiritual practice and thus a risk, for it can open you to ways of knowing the world and loving it that will lead to inevitable consequences. The awakened eye is a conscious eye, a willful eye, and brave, because to see things as they are, each in its own truth, will make you very vulnerable." The beauty all around awakens something in me. It awakens my eyes. It also awakens something else. It awakens my heart and soul and compels me to act more beautifully in the world. Surely the purpose of the religious, the spiritual life is to be awake. Awake to the world. Let beauty awake for beauty's sake. When the Buddha started to wander around India shortly after his enlightenment, he encountered several men who recognized him to be a very extraordinary being. They asked him, "Are you a god?" "No," he replied. "Are you a reincarnation of God?" "No," he replied. "Are you a wizard then?" "No." "Well, are you a man?" "No." "So what are you?" they asked, very perplexed. To which the Buddha simply replied, "I am awake." Buddha means the awakened one. And how to awaken is all that he taught. Let beauty awake for beauty's sake. Beauty awakens something. That said, what is beautiful to me may not be the same as to you. The things I find most beautiful, apart from the obvious of course, I find the beautiful blossom on those trees, so beautiful. But I'm also enchanted by the wild geese flying high, or the song of the blackbird, or the incredible football that Marcelo Bielsa is creating at Leeds United, or the music of New Model Army, or the batting of Joe Root, or watching our little dog Charlie playing at home or out in the park with other dogs, just delighting in life. Charlie's only a little Shih Tzu, but she holds her own with the big dogs. She's got such a beautiful spirit about her. She pours out her love too, and she receives it in equal measure. I also saw another wonderful, beautiful sight this week, my first sighting of ducklings as I was out walking Charlie by the canal. Is there anything more beautiful in this world than new life? Let beauty awake, for beauty's sake. What is beautiful to you? What does beauty awaken in you? Beauty is subjective, and as they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. The eye of the beholder. It's a curious phrase, isn't it? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It does suggest that beauty is subjective. And the phrase is of disputed origin, as they always are, aren't they? Some say it was coined in ancient Greece, while others cite Shakespeare. In Love's Labour Lost, he wrote, and apologies for my way of reciting Shakespeare, but in Love's Labour Lost, he wrote, "Good Lord Boyer, my beauty though mean, needs not the painted flourish of your praise. Beauty is bought by judgment of the eye, not uttered by base sale of Chapman's tongue." Benjamin Franklin in Poor Richard's Almanac wrote, "Beauty like supreme dominion is but supported by opinion." David Hume wrote, "Beauty in things exists merely in the mind which contemplates them." The exact phrase, though, is attributed to Margaret Wolfe Hungerford, who in Molly Bawn wrote, "Beauty is in the eye of the beholder." Beauty is subjective. It is in the eye of the beholder. It's about what our eyes can see, but it's also about how we see with my little eye. I spy with my little eye something beginning with, well, I'll let you choose your own letter. Here's a little bit of Mary Oliver. Mindful by Mary Oliver. Every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It was what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. O good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the ocean shine, the prayers that are made out of grass. Mindful by Mary Oliver. It is easy to look at the world and see what is destructive and life-denying, what is considered ugly. It is less easy to become consistently aware of what is good, true and beautiful. This requires discipline to open our eyes, our minds, our hearts, our souls, and to keep them open. This takes consistent effort. Beauty appears as a grace, but it takes effort to be aware that, and thus be affected and moved by beauty. This does not come unbidden, this discipline. That said, if we do, and if we keep on doing so, despite the very troubles we are surrounded by, we will begin to see beauty everywhere, not only in nature, but in one another. There is a lot of bad news out there, but there's a lot of good news as well. Pass the word and help keep hope alive, for it's not good enough to merely see beauty. We must be moved by it and moved to action so as to continue to create things of beauty ourselves, or even better, become people of beauty by living beautiful lives. Let beauty awake for beauty's sake. Plato believed that love was born of beauty and that it tapped into our basic human drive and desire for good, that it was not a private or self-indulgent act of pleasure, and that the ability to love beauty has created all the good things that exists for gods and men. And this brings to my mind a passage from Matthew's Gospel, chapter 26, verses 6 to 13. And this passage is much debated, primarily because it has been used by some as a justification for tolerating poverty. But I believe that to focus on this is to fail to recognise actually the central message of Matthew's Gospel, the message of the abundant blessing of love. The power of this story, this passage actually, is in its recognition of abundant love. It describes a woman who loves and cares for Jesus. She anoints him with oil because she loves him dearly. It is true, and it truly is an act of loving, nay, gracious abandonment to do so. She is overflowing with love and wants to anoint those she loves with this. Isn't this beauty in action? Isn't this the soul awakened by beauty and inspired to act lovingly? Her heart is overflowing with love, and she wants to pour out this love onto Jesus, who will soon no longer be with her or the disciples, the grumpy disciples in this passage. Let beauty awake for beauty's sake. This is something we can all do. We can all pour out this attentive love on one another and to all life. We can offer care and attention to each and everyone around us. In so doing, we will help to create beauty all around us. Be like that cherry blossom falling from those trees. Dante claimed that beauty awakens the soul to act. Beauty awakens the soul of me in so many indescribable ways, and it compels me to act in such a way as to pour out that beauty within onto the world in which I live and breathe and share my life with. This is in true, pure reverence for life itself, the greatest gift of all. Beauty not only awakens the soul, but also fills the heart to overflowing. It certainly compels me to pour my heart out on the world in loving ways. In fact, perhaps true beauty, certainly in a human sense, is to act morally. Let beauty awake for beauty's sake. Beauty is all around us. We are surrounded by it. If we open ourselves to it, it will fill our hearts, awaken our souls, and lead us to act lovingly and morally. This is beauty in action. If we create beauty with our own hands, we will touch each individual soul we meet, and they will grow and flower to their own full potential. We are here to enjoy the beauty that we are surrounded by and to pour out the beauty that lays within us and thus bring it to fruition in the world all around us. Let beauty awake for beauty's sake. Awake from slumber and awake from dreams. Let beauty awake from deep within us. Let beauty pour from us, and may we lavish our world with beauty. For beauty awakens the soul to act. I'm going to end this reflection with a few words of blessing, because that's what we do when we pour out our love and beauty on the world. We bless the world with our presence, and the world needs us to bless it more. And we can all bless, and we bless by giving our whole hearts to life. So let's begin right now. Let's give our whole hearts to life and pour out beauty on the world. Many days we share life together and flower and flow with all that is and was and ever shall be. Let us bless life through our thoughts, our words and our deeds, and life will bless us in return. Let's lavish life with beauty and love. Let's pour out our hearts on a world that needs it. And may the love of God be with us in all that we feel, in all that we think, in all that we say, in all that we do. Amen. Let beauty awake for beauty.